Hello, everybody. This is Amy Hager here, and sorry, I'm trying to get my phone situated. I am going to be doing a live with Lissa Maris from Raw Food Romance. Lissa is just like the most amazing chef, so I can't wait to interview her. She's going to be joining us. I think she just joined, so she's going to request. Yay, here we go. So we're gonna into this live. She's joining. Lissa. Yay!
Yay! Oh,
In the house. Oh, cool. You got a little halo. You're like a little raw vegan angel. I love it. I want to go get some rings or something. You know, I got to try to fit in.
aw, I love your earrings.
Thank you. So there's this like little boutique store in town that opened up because like I'm kind of out in the country, and so there's not a lot of boutique stores. And so when this one opened up, I was like, yes, you know, like I could get something like fun without having to travel an hour, and you know, I don't know. I like to do cute girly stuff. Like I that's like kind of my thing.
Oh yeah, me too, right? Like I haven't worn the headbands in quite a while, and there was somebody on my YouTube channel who was like, I miss when you used to wear the headbands and the little flowers in your hair. And I'm like, yeah, I used to do that for years.
Yeah.
Like even before, like when I was a young girl, like, you know, late teens and stuff, I used to put my hair up and I'd have little flowers in my hair. And I just, when we moved and moved down to the US, everything was in boxes, so I didn't have my headbands as often. But now I'm like, I gotta wear these more often. I like it.
I know, you guys. Okay, I have to introduce this woman properly. Melissa Maris is like so amazing. She's the author of 8 ebooks, 8 raw food ebooks. She's probably one of like the most influential women in the raw food community right now. She has, how much weight did you release or lose? You have
70.
70. Yeah,
Mhm.
she's got like amazing before and after pictures. Like if you've seen these things, you're like, how is that possible that somebody could completely like transform their body into like goddess, you know? Like, really. And then on top of it all, like she's like a professional photographer. She like is a raw vegan entrepreneur coach. She is my coach. She's like taught me so much stuff. Like definitely like out of all the coaches I've ever had, I could definitely say you're one of the best that I've ever gone to. So really like I just feel like so much gratitude to everything that I've learned from you, and also for like just hanging in there because there's lots of times when I'm like I just can't do it, you know, and Melissa's like you got this, you can do it. So I just thank you so much for everything that you've done. And if you guys, you got to click on the links in her bio and in my bio and buy this Ultimate Raw Vegan book. It's 50 books, 50 creators, one exclusive holiday ebook. And Melissa is like this amazing designer. She designed that holiday ebook, and yes, she is a superhuman. I've never seen anybody work as hard as Melissa does. Like I literally, like I am, you know, if there's times I feel like I'm doing a lot, and then I go and I talk to Lissa, and I'm like, oh darn, I got to keep up somehow because she is like super woman. So yes.
Aw, wow. Thank you for the amazing introduction. Oh my gosh.
Like,
Oh,
start
you're
bowing
so
to
sweet.
Lissa.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't be able to do this without my ever-loving husband, Nate,
Yes.
who makes a lot of the salads. He helps out a lot. He cleans the kitchen while I'm like typing up ebooks and designing things and talking with
Who
everybody.
doesn't want eye candy floating around, right? You know, it helps like with the creativity. That's actually second chakra. Second chakra deals with your creativity, your money, and your sex. So when you get all 3 of those like working together, you're gonna like make some gold.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like for me, it's such a passion, like creation. And I am just naturally a really creative person. I'm an artist. I do like paintings, or used to anyway. I haven't had really much time to do anything like that. but paintings, pencil work, photography, like you had mentioned, I have been a professional photographer since 2008.
Yeah.
And I had my own company in Canada. I did my own photography business. And I just really geek out on marketing and digital design and all the behind the scenes stuff. So websites and all that good stuff. I really geek out on it. And I love my favorite thing in the whole world. Oh, look at the party food ebook.
Yeah,
that's my ebook in the bundle.
This is some of her amazing photography, and I've seen her artwork, you guys. This girl is like a really, really amazing artist. Like, look at this food. Are you kidding me? Like, it doesn't even look like real food. It's so beautiful. So it's just amazing. So this is just one of her books. I haven't looked at Let It Snow yet. But, you know, that's just it. Like, you know, a lot of people are struggling to get one book in. Alyssa gets 2 books in, you know.
Yeah, the reason why I did 2 was because Chris and I were like, we want to get at least 50 ebooks in the bundle, right? Okay. We wanted to have 50. Right now there's 55, so that's what we got for the bundle, 55 ebooks. That means, like, if you buy the bundle, it's only $1. It's less than $1 per ebook. It's like 91 cents per ebook. And all the ebooks are brand new. Everything is brand new. I can guarantee everyone watching that they do not have anything that's in the bundle. All 55 ebooks are brand new.
Right. I've got my phone on this darn little thing that's like a gimbal, and it just like the battery died on it. So I'm trying to stay there. Yay. Okay, good. Yeah, I've done interviews at Veg Fest where I literally had to hold the phone the whole time. So I'm like, stay in the cradle, work.
Right? Oh my gosh, it's hard to hold the phone up for so long. But yeah.
The darn battery must be going on this thing. I'm going to switch it out of this cradle. I didn't want to put it into the other tripod that I have, but it's just because this is like my 3rd live today. And just to meet with everybody.
Oh my gosh, you're breaking up. There we go.
I know, but I'm like, okay, I have to do this new tripod. The phone's just going to be a little higher than I was expecting.
That's all good. That's
difficulties.
All good. Right.
And I also have
it snow.
There. Okay,
there we go.
Oh my gosh. Okay, technical things.
There we go.
Yay.
Looking good, looking good. Yay, we're back.
Yay. Yeah, this one's not electric, so it won't just, you know, flop down onto my crotch. That was embarrassing. But no, I just have to look up a little bit. That's the reason why I use the other one, but that's okay.
That's all good. You're looking good. You're looking good. It's awesome. But yeah, I wanted to say that by the way, it's 11:11 a.m. here in PST. So let's make a little manifesty gratitude. Thank you everyone for joining us, and it's just awesome to be together. I love it. I love it. And thank you, Amy, for joining me here live. But I wanted to talk about the Let It Snow book too, because it was a book that I wrote really quickly for the bundle, and it's 52 pages. I know people are like, I can't believe you do what you do, but I wrote this book. It's my first 5 years raw vegan in the winter, because I did my first 5 years raw in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And in the winter time, it gets to like minus 47 on some days with the wind chill. It's like mega cold. The fruit isn't as awesome. But there were some things that I did that helped me to stay raw through that entire 5 years that I was in Canada. And then moving to the United States, obviously there were different challenges, that kind of thing. But in Canada, I did notice that I had certain things that I was doing that was making it a lot easier to be raw in the winter. So I wanted to write this book anyways. And I thought, what better time to do it than throw it into the bundle with everything else, right? So I wrote this one. It's called Let It Snow. And it's 52 pages of my story and tips and tricks on how I was able to do raw in the winter in Canada.
Right. I think that's so awesome, because I'm actually from Chicago. So there, like, so many of my friends, you know, they're up there and, you know, they just are, you know, having all of those common questions. Like, how do I stay warm? Like, you know, I'm eating frozen smoothies, I'm freezing. Like, how do I, you know, do a raw food lifestyle in the winter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
So,
tough. It's tough, right?
but of all the places that you lived, what was the easiest and the hardest as far as going raw or staying raw?
That's a good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that, like the
Yeah.
differences between the two. So in Canada, I would feel like the biggest challenges was the produce quality because everything pretty much is being shipped in from somewhere. Like we did have some local hydroponic places in the local markets, but things were very, very, very seasonal and it was harder to get fresh fruit where I was. Even Edmonton, like there's like a million people in Edmonton, but it was harder to get really good quality fruit, and what we could get was pretty expensive. Like I remember at sometimes it was like $7 for a pineapple. And I'm like, this is really hard to do because financially I couldn't afford all organic. There was absolutely no way that I would be able to afford all organic. So I did what I could. I bought what was in season. I bought stuff on sale. I tried to
I
get as
still
much
eat organic, all organic too, just for the record. I do as much as I can, but like if there's some things that I can't, I'm not going to stress over it.
Exactly, yeah, and that was my mindset right from the beginning, was not to be super stressed out about everything has to be 100% organic, because it's not just about organic foods, but also about variety. And if you are limited to your food, or if you can't afford to eat like, you know, like 2,000, 2,200 calories a day, because otherwise it's going to cost you like $50 a day in organic food, it's just not sustainable. So I'd rather see people eat enough and get enough variety and just try to get as much organic. If it's on sale and it's organic, get it. We try to get as much as we can organic. And like we did a video just recently earlier today about growing your own greens. So we have our own microgreens growing in our office, and those are guaranteed organic because we obviously don't spray them. But those are options. We have a question here. Do you wash non-organic foods? I've heard soaking in baking soda can help remove pesticides. Yes, we wash non-organic foods when we can. But again, like Amy said, we don't stress about it. It's not like, I noticed like there was a post about the obsession that I read earlier, and Chris Kendall made a really good point on that post, that there's a difference between being obsessed out of fear and worry and being obsessed out of desire and love and actual want, right? Like you could be obsessed with raw food where you're just like in love with the process and you want to make new raw meals and you're venturing out and exploring new foods. You could be obsessed with that, or you can be obsessed with like the fear-based or the perfectionism, or you're like, I need to be all organic and I need to do this detox, and I'm scared of cooked foods and all of that, and that can cause a very different intention when it comes to raw foods. And with the organic thing, the same thing can happen. You could be obsessed in a negative mindset where you're like, you can't eat anything that's not organic, or you can be obsessed with just raw food and doing your best and doing what you can instead. And yeah, what do you use to wash? I use Norwex. It's a fruit and veggie wash, but you could use vinegar, you can use baking soda, whatever works best for whoever. But yeah,
I use H2O.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the baking
I'm
soda
not that
can
fancy.
help.
I just stick it under the sink. So
Yep. And our bodies, like obviously we don't want to be bombarding it with extra toxins and stuff from like the pesticides and chemicals. But if we're eating really healthfully, our detox organs can deal with it better than if we're eating, right, like a bunch of junk food or high fat, and like our body just can't deal with it as well as it can when we're eating a high raw or all raw diet. So yeah, definitely that's a big one too, not being obsessed with things.
Right. So I know you're in Vegas now. Do you have a favorite location out of the 3 places you've lived? Or, I mean, I know it's been a short time.
Vegas, hands down, is my favorite place ever to have lived that I've lived. I mean, I haven't lived very many places. I've lived, so in Canada, I was there until I was 39. And then we lived in Oregon for 2 years. And now I'll be 42 in December. And out of the three places that I've lived, Vegas is my favorite. Vegas is the best. The reason being is I feel because it's such a big city and it's southern, so there's a lot easier access to more exotic fruits from like Mexico, Costa Rica, and California even. There's a lot more access to it, and plus there's less shipping involved in getting those fruits and vegetables, because when I was in Canada, right, fruit coming from Mexico all the way to Canada, that's a lot in carbon footprint as well. So I personally like Vegas the most. I've had the most variety here in Vegas, even though we live in the middle of the desert. But it's definitely better. It's better than Oregon. There are some things that I do miss about Oregon that we haven't yet. I mean, we've only been here for like 3 months, so we're still exploring the city and what we can get. But in Oregon, there was a place where we could get heirloom tomatoes for really cheap. And that's probably the biggest thing that I miss food-wise about Oregon, was that one store that we got like bags of shredded cabbage for like $4, bags of green onion. There was a lot of stuff that we got there that we haven't been able to find yet here. So, but we will. We just have to explore and go to different stores. And that's what everyone else can do, is like go to stores that you don't normally go to, like Asian markets or ethnic markets. Like they have so much variety that people normally don't eat. Like there's like 7 or 10 different kinds of like bok choys and sweet choys and all these kinds of greens that we don't normally eat. And it's really important to get that variety and explore, because you don't know what sales they're going to have. Like, never had as many passion fruits as we've had here in Vegas. Like, we eat passion fruit every single day. And the mangoes that we got here were the best mangoes I've had in a really long time. So, yeah, I would have to say Vegas is my favorite.
Yeah, I could completely understand why. It sounds like it would be amazing. And there definitely seems to be a raw food community growing in Vegas, which is like exciting to hear, you know, because I'm in Florida, and like I'm in the west side of Florida. There's not really a very large vegan community here. So like there was a nice, like a healthier cooked vegan restaurant, but that has since closed. They did have some raw foods, but like there's just like another cooked one that does a lot of stir fry stuff with oils, but like that's the only one, unless I'm gonna drive an hour, you know. So like I really wish that it, like there was more here, you know. So like I could look at it as an opportunity from like an educator, like I get to teach people about this lifestyle. But a lot of people in this area like just don't know anything about, you know, going vegan, let alone going raw vegan, you know. So that was just, you know, mind blowing for a lot of people. Like I even went out to this mother's group, and like one of the moms looked at me because she already knew I was vegan, but she goes, "You eat nothing but raw food," and I was like, "Well, I'm high raw, but you know, I do try to eat as much raw as I can. It's just, you know, I'm running around sometimes I just can't, and I don't want to beat myself up over it, you know."
Yeah, that's a really good point. Actually, moving into our topic is raw vegan and families, because you have kids. I don't have kids. Nate does, and his 2 boys are both vegan. Jonah is high raw, so he eats as much raw as he can. Jacob isn't there yet. He's still vegan, and they're both vegan for ethical reasons. So that's like the number one, obviously. And then just as you go through your life, you add more raw, you see how it feels in your body. But you have smaller kids. They're not 20, right?
I have a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old, a 6 and a 9-year-old, and they have never, like, the one thing I will say is I don't think they've ever had meat in their life. So that's like pretty impressive. I did have, like, my mother was like the worst as far as like being supportive of this lifestyle. So like if I ever had her watch them, which like I tried to not let her watch them that much, but if she ever did, the first thing she would want to do is take the kids to McDonald's. You know, not just like go get something, you know, but just go to McDonald's, which I kind of like look at like, no, you know, the bottom of the barrel, like you don't go there. You know, but so I know my daughter's tried like a chicken McNugget, but she didn't like it because they're really, really picky eaters. And she said she spit it out. And so I actually do believe her. But I don't know. Like, just overall, they haven't had meat products. And like, you know, they're vegan. They eat like a lot of rice. Like my son likes to eat a lot of rice. And what else? Oh, gluten-free pasta because their daddy's gluten-free. So like, yeah, a lot of people would be like, oh my God, you're gluten-free and you're vegan, you know? So, but now that like, I don't know, it took me a while to like really get a lot of self-confidence to be like, okay, I am going to stand up to this social pressure that I feel all around me. Like that was the harder part for me than actually making the dietary changes. Like it was just harder for me, you know, to be like, okay, what am I going to order at this restaurant? I still want to go out with people, you know, am I going to order a watermelon, you know? And also just like letting go of some relationships that aren't serving you anymore or are not serving your lifestyle.
Yeah, that's a tough one too. Yeah, letting go and change because honestly, it's harder on them than it is on you. Because when we make a change, we're making it because we want it and we're excited and we're happy and we're learning and it's a whole new world for us. But for everyone else, it's different and they're scared of change. They don't want to face the fact that you're changing and they're not. And your choices are a mirror onto their choices. Like I was talking to Matt from Raw Intuition. We did a live the other day, and we were talking about the 4 types of people. There's the inquirer who's genuinely interested in what you have to say, but you've got the debater who debates on absolutely everything, all your points, and they constantly have something to say. Then you've got the joker who makes fun of you or who makes jokes or whatever. And then you have the bully who bullies you, who makes you feel guilty or whatever, right? And those 3 types of people, they are only doing these reactions. So they either make a joke or they bully you or they debate you because your choice of eating a salad or eating a bowl of fruit is a mirror reflecting their choice back onto them. So they see your salad and they're like, I should be eating the salad, or why is she eating the salad? And maybe what I'm like, her choice is telling me that I'm bad or wrong or something. And it's like, no, it's just your choice. You're choosing to eat a salad. It's no different. But because it's a mirror reflecting their choice back, they have to put up a wall. And for some people, that's a joke, a comic relief, or they bully you because they are insecure in their own choices. And it all happens subconsciously. Like they don't realize that they're doing it. So it's harder on them than it is on us. And we are trying to be loving and accepting of them and everything, but they can't grasp it yet. And it's just a seed that's been watered in their mind. And we just have to constantly be a positive example to them and sharing with them what we're doing and out of love, because that's really what it is. If they're making fun or poking jokes or debating with you, they're doing it mostly out of fear because they're scared to change. They're scared of your change. They don't want to eat a salad. They're scared to give up cheese. Like all of these things happen subconsciously. So then they react, right? And they react out of fear. And the solution to fear is love. So giving them a hug, telling them they're awesome, changing the subject to focus on them, and doing things like that can really help in those situations. But it is hard. It's like, it's hard to change in a society that isn't where we want to be. And like you said, like you wish there was more vegan or raw vegan community where you are. And here in Vegas, like we have one raw vegan restaurant, which is kind of just down the street from us. It's called Veg Nation, and they have 2 raw things on their vegan menu, and it's a vegan restaurant, so everything's vegan. But we still have to ask. We still have to ask to make it raw. We still have to ask certain restaurants to make it raw. And there's another restaurant on the Strip called True Food Kitchen, and we went there for our anniversary. And we got them to make us raw stuff. Like the sauce was raw. We checked all the ingredients. It was good to go. but it was so small, and we're like, we need like 4 of these.
Yeah, that being said, that's probably the number one reason why I don't go out to eat as much. Because like if I order a salad and it's like this big, I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm not going to order 4 of them and that costs me $10. You know, like I can just make better. I can make better food, larger quantities at home. So that's like the biggest reason. And if I do go out, it's purely for the social reason, you know, or unless I have a crazy busy day. But for the most part, I'm eating at home all the time.
Yeah, and so how do your kids feel about more raw? Like how did you how do you incorporate more raw into your kids' diets?
Well, I did take them to Woodstock Fruit Festival this year, and I did not take any crutches. Their daddy packed like some stuff in their suitcase. Hold on, I'm gonna put this up here. You know, thinking that they couldn't make it, but I was like, no, I just want to go for it. Like, I want them to, like, they have to eat this. You know, like, there's plenty of food there. I spent a good amount of money to go, so like, this is what they're eating, and they did fine. You know, they have no problems with the fruits. My daughter's really good with vegetables. She won't eat like a regular salad, but she'll eat like a romaine lettuce leaf, or she'll eat broccoli or carrots, or you know, she'll eat the vegetable whole and plain, and she only likes it raw. So that's easy. Like, she never ate cooked vegetables anyways. And then my son, like, he's the trickier one. Like, I've bribed him in the past. I'm like, I'll give you a Halo doll if you if you eat this carrot. And I literally watched this little boy eat this tiny little carrot, and it took him like 2 hours. It took like the tiny, like, slivering it with his teeth, like, you know, and it was just so funny. And then he would have it in his mouth, and he'd be like, you know, and I know that he wasn't like, you know, he didn't not like it. He just was like, it's in his head, you know. So I'm just constantly trying to find like other ways. Like I tried to like cut up the lettuce and put it in his rice, you know, but he could see it. So he's like, Mommy, I not like that, you know. So I'm like, damn, he's like too smart. And probably the best way for me to get vegetables in his diet is sneaking it in his smoothies. And I have to just go light on it. I have to like just sneak a lettuce leaf in. Or if I do strawberries, I don't take the tops off the strawberries. I just put all of that in there. But, you know, the fruits are like natural for them. They're used to rambutans and lychees and all different kind of tropical fruits. So that's like easy. It's just getting them to the veggies.
Yeah, the veggies. I know, right? And some kids are just naturally more picky than others. But we obviously, like, you're doing great by adding those extra things in where you can, because we do still need to grow our gut microbiome properly, right? We need that variety. But yeah, you're right. Like, it's just a carrot. And obviously he's doing it because he's testing your limits, right? Like, he's testing his limits and just like seeing like how you're going to react. And sometimes that's the only reason why they are picky, because they're just seeing.
If I was not there, he probably would have been like, oh, I'll just eat this because Mom's not here.
Yeah, exactly. I know, it's really interesting, the psychological games that kids play around food. But yeah, just having an abundance of stuff out for them and giving them what they really love, right? Because we don't want to be forcing them to eat certain things that they don't like, but giving them more of what they do like, and then including small amounts of what they might not like as much, and helping them to understand the benefits of eating those foods and why, like educating our children why we choose this way and why we want to eat adequate amounts of calories. Like, you want to have enough energy so that you can go run with your friends and you can go play climbing the rocks and stuff, right? We have to teach them about the foods that are going into your body, because I didn't learn about it. It was just, oh, that looks good, I'm going to eat it. And then eventually when I started working in natural health, I fell really deep into detox, or not the detox, but the diet culture and detox. I fell into that when I was working at the natural health industry store, because I just didn't know. I didn't know anything. So I get into the natural health industry and I'm learning all these things. I'm like, I didn't know that, but I was learning things that were still diet culture. And even though we feel like we're learning the proper thing, we might not actually be learning the proper thing. So when we do have parents like yourself who have the knowledge to teach the kids, like they're set up to really be able to springboard into their adult years with a really good, healthy, like, foundation of what's good, even though they might not have liked carrots when they were 9.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's just a phase that he's going through. Definitely when they were babies, like the first food, I would just cut the hole in the nipple of the baby bottle. So they were eating everything that I ate. You know, they were just eating all the smoothies, and, you know, because a lot of the food I eat is blended. So they were just, you know, I would just have an extra large blender and just, you know, make enough for the family. So it was easy.
That's nice. Yeah, making it for the family and getting how involved are your kids in the food process? Like, I know some people, like, they try to bring their kids into the kitchen to help make the food with them because it makes it more fun too. How involved are your kids?
Well, they will make their own ice cream. I don't have them do their smoothies yet because, like, cutting the bananas, the frozen bananas out of the tray is like a little tricky. And then also cutting a mango. 'Cause my son is addicted to mango banana smoothies. So
Nice.
like, you know, I say he's picky, like he won't eat any other kind of smoothie. Like, so I have to have like a plethora of mangoes at all times because like that's like his favorite and that's what he wants. So yeah, but like they will make their own ice creams. They will, as far as like cooked foods, like they make their own pasta. They make their own rice. Like I have a rice dispenser. They have it on like a rice cooker. I have a countertop filled with fruits and vegetables, and I have like these little plastic bowls. So they feed themselves, you know. So having it out on the counter and easily accessible for the children is like really important, so that they know, okay, if I'm hungry, there's food right there, and I'm just gonna go get it. Things like grapes, I take all of the grapes off of the stem. And I wash it and I put it in a bowl. So it's just easy to reach in the bowl and grab it.
That's what we do. Yeah.
My daughter likes food at different temperatures. So she is really into frozen blueberries right now. And I think she likes it just because her whole mouth and her lips turn blue. You know?
Kids, right? Kids. We need to be more like kids.
I know. Like there's something about blue food. Like if you could just write a raw food book called Blue Raw, you know. That's what kids want to eat. Like, I don't know what the heck the thing is, you know. Like they like things like frozen grapes, you know, like that is something that's interesting. My daughter will not eat a regular banana, but she will eat frozen bananas, not even like in a smoothie, but like you take it out of the freezer and you cut it up on a cutting board in little pieces. So they will eat it like that.
Wow, interesting.
I know. So you just got to like try stuff, and, you know, they're going to grow attachments to their food, and that's like the thing that I'm really learning a lot about. It's just like how emotional people get about food, you know, like my son just being scared to try a carrot, you know, or, you know, like for example, my mother-in-law like just being so intimidated by my extreme diet, you know. Just like how people just get really emotional and wrapped up around it. Because when I learned about this lifestyle, I was like, you guys, I got to tell everyone because this is the most amazing thing in the world. And I was definitely like that pushy vegan, like, you got to do this. It's going to save your life, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I had all the best.
Scream it from the rooftop.
I know. Look at like all this animal cruelty. Look at this and that. And I don't think I went about it the best way. But like I also was just surprised by all the pushback too, you know, because like I was like, look, you can heal your Crohn's disease naturally. And my mom would go to the doctor and the doctor would be like, what's she talking about? And, you know, and so then my mom wouldn't believe me. And I was like, I'm the one who loves you. He wants your money, you know? So, and plus, like, so many doctors just don't know a lot about nutrition. Not saying all doctors, but like a lot of them don't know anything about nutrition. So, you know, from my perspective, I watched her like since I was 17 years old suffer with IBS and Crohn's disease, and she had a botched hysterectomy. So like they cut her colon when they were removing her uterus, which she almost had septic inside of her system, and so she just had Crohn. It like flared up into this big infection, and then Crohn's. So she just was like in and out of the hospital all the time. So since I was 17, like I've been to Mayo Clinic more times than you can imagine, just she's tried every experimental drug, medicine, surgery. And I literally, like, she was a teacher, so she had good health insurance. And so I literally watched her spend millions of dollars on her health care. And so the thing for me, what that was like mind boggling is that I was like, okay, you have all the resources, you have all the money to get the best that you could possibly get, but like she still suffered. And so the one thing that she didn't try was change her diet and lifestyle.
It's so simple, and we're not taught this, right? It's all
Right.
band-aid, 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 easy, quick fix, that kind of thing. And people just don't want to go down to the bare foundation, the bare foundation of what we're putting into our body. And it's not about being obsessed, and it's not about being perfect, and it's not about restriction and whatever, like, because you said extreme diet, right? Because to a lot of people, this looks extreme, but to us, it doesn't, because we are feeding ourselves properly. We're not restricting our calories or variety. We're eating a lot. It's really sad because, like you said, a majority of doctors don't know anything. But what they do say is they just parrot what everyone else is doing. They parrot diet culture. It's like, do the low carb thing, or eat the pyramid, the food pyramid, or whatever, right? They just parrot what everyone else is doing on the internet, and whatever doesn't fall within what they're doing either, right? And that becomes to those four people, right? They debate, they don't believe it because everyone else is doing this, and this other doctor is doing this, and whatever. And all of these other diets and ideas, they're just band-aids, because we don't get down to the bare foundation of what is going on, what we're putting into our bodies. And unfortunately, it's sad because people just don't want to accept how simple it is, or they don't want to accept that they have to give up things that they love. Whereas, like, I've had a lot of people, when I first went raw, they would say, like, well, geez, like, I wouldn't enjoy my life. Like, don't you enjoy your life? And I'm like, I enjoy my
life now than I ever have.
Exactly.
Sober life is better. Healthy life is better. I don't have ailments like you guys are. I have to like go out to dinners or go out to hang out with people, and they're talking about like, oh, this is hurting me. I have to get this surgery, or this is going on. It's not saying that I don't feel bad. I do. I would like, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, to help teach people, but it also is like, it kind of sucks because it's like you could be doing all this cool stuff with your life, and instead your health issues are holding you back and distracting you from your purpose in life, and you're missing out on like creating, because like that's why we're here on this planet, to create, and you have to also follow the money trail. Like if we, like doctors, if they go to med school, you have to think, who is the big people funding some of these schools? Like who's the big donators? Big donators are coming from big pharma, the medical industry, food industry. And so they're skewed with what they're taught. They're not allowed to be taught like everything, just like the same as how the food pyramid is skewed. And if you actually follow the money trail, like, the big reason why I didn't do this sooner was because I was like, I don't know how to make money doing it. What am I going to do? Sell apples? So like if you took a doctor and you take out like them being able to prescribe drugs, they do like the least amount of surgeries, and all of their clients are healthy, well, then they're out of business.
Right. Exactly. I know. And it's a sad state that we are in, because when you become a doctor, you take the oath, do no harm. And unfortunately, they don't address that really, really big, massive part of our health, which is what we eat. And it ends up being up to us to figure it out. But a lot of people don't have the information, because all over the internet is like bombarded with all this different information. Like it's crazy, because I've been there. I mean, ever since I was 18.
How much we're brainwashed ever since we were children. Like I see this now, because my daughter, she did go to school for a year, but when she was in school, she had to do a speed read, and one of her speed reads was on the health benefits of drinking dairy milk. I was like, oh my God, she's got to repeat this thing over and over again. I'm like, why this is so good and healthy for her in her school, and this is in first grade. So like that, I mean, you just see like where you know, the brainwashing is happening at such a young age. And like with my mom, for example, like the woman who was like just so like resistant to change, she was like super into TV. Like she was the type of person that would sit down and watch TV. And I'm like, you know, those ads are to sell you products. That's like not real. You know, milk does a body good, or just, you know, anything else that like is said in the news. Like they have a reason why they're doing that.
Yeah.
So you have to educate yourself. Like she
Yeah.
watched the Cooking Network all the time. And I'm like, why do they not have a raw food cooking network?
I
Or
know, we need a raw
uncooking.
food cooking network. Oh my goodness. Like we really,
Right.
and if we don't have it on TV, then we got to start our own. We got to get on YouTube and share. That's why it's so important that if someone's into the raw food lifestyle, share. Post your pictures, share like what you create, and inspire others, because the more of us who do that, the more we can inspire others to do that too. And it's not, again, it's not about being perfect, it's about doing more. What
Right,
more
right.
can you do? Yeah.
Right, because it's going to take a massive effort, not like just one person. Like if you think about what's behind the medical industry and like what's behind, you know, Monsanto and like all of the, what the lobbyists, you know, and like that are making laws and things like that. Like these are really, really, really powerful forces in the system that we are in. So it's going to take like a mammoth effort from like a huge collective. So that's why I like, you know, this bundle is just so amazing. It's like pulling people together and like getting people to get to know each other so that we can all like help each other, and the collaboration that's going on. Like I'm just so inspired by like, oh my God, look at this person's book. Like you could do this with raw food. Like, whoa, look, I can't even believe like, oh, this is what you can do with dehydrated stuff. Like, oh my God, like these are amazing dressings. So like, I'm just super pumped about everything that I'm learning.
Yeah. And everyone who's watching, please, if you're loving these lives and you want to support us, head over to Amy's link in her bio. It's Self-Healing Inspiration. You can share in the chat so people can find you if they're coming from my page and they don't know who you are. Amy's going to share in the chat Self-Healing Inspiration. You can grab the bundle from her link in her bio, or you can grab the bundle from my link. It's all good. But yeah, grab the bundle because it's only here till November 1st. So if you're interested in adding more raw to your lifestyle, again, you don't need to be fully raw to enjoy the bundle. You just need to want to add more raw to your life, right? Start with the 1 or 2 recipes. There's over 1,000 brand new recipes in this bundle. And yeah, oh, she posted it here in the chat. That's the link to the bundle. So go grab the bundle and download all the ebooks and start enjoying more raw food. Add more, get the kids involved, make some stuff that they love. There actually is a book in there from Aga, she's got 2 kids, I think, and she's raising raw vegan, and she has a book in there called Growing Healthy Raw Vegan Children. So there's that in there.
I love meeting the other mothers. Like that is so helpful for me, because like I'm like the healthiest one, but I feel like I could do so much more. You know, so like when I'm around other people, like even Lena, Rob, or, you know, I haven't met Aga yet, but like I'm so inspired by all these other mothers. And so it's just really cool to get tips from them. Like Lena was like, just ask your son to try it and have a spit out cup. You know, you have to just try it. But if you don't like it, you can spit it out. No big deal. You know, so like I'm going to try to get him to just try stuff, you know, and move forward with that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I know. Yeah. And the connection, like I get asked a lot where people will be like, who should I follow? Who else should I follow? Is there someone who does this, blah, blah, blah. The bundle is the best thing for people who are just starting out, because there's over 50 of us. So you could actually go in and you could download everyone's ebooks and you could go follow all of them, and you would have your whole Instagram flooded with raw food. You'd be inspired every day. You're going to want to make the recipes. You're going to see what we're sharing. You're just tune into our lives and all that good stuff.
But connect with all of the different authors of the books. And if you make their recipe, take a picture, post it, and then tag them. So like tag who the creator is, because like when I see other people making my food, I'm like, oh, you know, like it's really kind of like heartwarming. I'm like, oh, they tried it. Like for some reason, it feels like really special to me. So like I love that.
Isn't it? I love that too. I know I love seeing what people make. Bundle is one a year. Yeah, we do 2 bundles a year that are raw. I'm part of many other bundles that aren't raw. Like I'm part of a vegan bundle that has a lot of cooked and fitness stuff in it. And I'm part of another bundle that does more like, you know, there's some other recipes, but it's cooked food. This is the only raw vegan bundle, and we only do it twice a year. So once in the spring and once in the fall, and that's it. And every single bundle is its own unique offer. So once this bundle is done, it's never going to be the same. We're going to have new stuff in the next one. Everything's going to be different. So if you like this bundle, click the link in the chat, link in our bios. Go check it out, scroll through and see all the good stuff that's in there. You get everything on the website for $50 only until November 1st. And once it's gone, it's gone.
Right. We have a question. Do we have raw recipes for infants? I don't have, like, I don't think that's necessarily in the bundle. Do you know if Aga's book had that? But pretty much I gave she does.
She might have some recipes in there, but you can also.
I give my kids smoothies all the time.
Yeah, smoothies. Smoothies are the best for infants, and there are a lot of smoothie recipes in this bundle. So you could make any of those and feed those to the kids. But kids also like a lot of dips and stuff, right? Like there's so many dressing recipes in the bundle where you could just make the dressing with less water. So it's a thick dip, and then they could just dip like pieces of lettuce in it or something that they could chew. Yeah.
And I do know, like for children, children can have more fat. Like it helps them actually with their brain development. So you would want to be mixing things. Like I used to actually make like bananas and avocado. I would mush that up, you know, besides just the smoothies. And also like if you are able to get young coconuts, like maybe add some of the young coconuts into the smoothie just so they get some of that extra fat, just because the kids will thrive on that a little bit more than I will. I will just blow up, but but they need it in order to grow. So you know,
yeah. So it's all
good. Like do that like you know in moderation, but like you could give them like a little more than what you would eat yourself.
Yeah, just add a little extra. But yeah, avocados are great. Coconut's great. Adding chia seeds is really good for the omega-3 because we got to
add a hemp seeds to your smoothies. Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of the recipes that are blended are obviously little wee one friendly. So fruit for the win.
Exactly. And like they like to gnaw on apples and things like that too. It helps with teething. So just give them the fruit. Like give it, like you don't have to overthink it. Like make it really, really simple. Be like, here's an orange. Like peel it and just let them play around with it and figure it out. But, you know, we have all these fingers and this dexterity movements. You know, because that's like what our animal species has. So let them play, let them touch, let them get used to smelling it and feeling it when it's ripe. It's all like really good for them.
Yeah. Yeah, giving them a little avocado so that they can like poke in it, get avocado everywhere. I've seen some pictures, some super cute pictures of kids with avocados. It's a fun one to give to kids because they like to mush it up and taste, and that's part of education as a human being, right? Our food is so important. It's the only reason why we're here, right? Because we have to feed our bodies properly. So if we can teach them about natural whole foods instead of giving them a bag of chips or whatever, right? As they grow up, we're just like, here's some chips, go have fun, right? But they'll get in contact with the fresh food and be more likely to choose that later when they're older.
Right, and I will say that I'm doing something called unschooling with my children. So that's like, it's a form of homeschooling. But bottom line, homeschooling them is so much easier than sending them to school as far as, you know, trying to make sure that they eat healthier. Because like even when I would pack up a vegan lunch for the children, so like they would get free lunches at school all the time. And of course it's not vegan, so like I would pack them a lunch anyways. But even though I did all of that, there's still like they teach with food, you know, so there would be times they would be counting, you know, color or doing colors with Cheerios and counting with candy corn. And somebody's birthday was coming up and it seemed like it was 5 times a month. I would, you know, cupcakes, you know, so there's just nonstop like
Mhm.
crap being like, you know, handed to your kids. And so like if you just start to do unschooling or homeschooling, however you want to do it, it just eliminates so much of that bad influence. And I
Mhm.
will say bad, you know, because you don't need Fruit Loops in order to like know your colors or learn your colors. You
Yeah.
know, Fruit Loops don't even have pretty colors, you know, or they, I mean, like look at your fruit, like that's going to be better, more rich colors than Fruit Loops, you
Mhm.
know, and counting candy corn and just, I don't know, stuff that you like, you just don't need. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love unschooling my kids. Like my kids are super, super into gaming. So I let them game as much as they want, and they're wickedly good. So I'm actually going to, well, I'm looking into this right now, but I'm looking into getting them onto crypto gaming.
Mm. Very
Because you
cool.
can make money as a kid
Mhm.
gaming and crypto, so I'm going to get them employed.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. We're not taught. We're not taught in school. We're taught to get good grades, get a good job, go get a job, you know, and just like on the conveyor belt of life. And I was the same way. I didn't learn about like I got my first Rich Dad Poor Dad book when I was like 24. My
Right.
parents didn't know, and it's not their fault, right? It's not society's fault because they're taught wrong. So, yeah, and we all have to do our part in change, and it takes individuals like us and like everyone watching to continue learning because we have to unlearn what we've learned and relearn things. It's a lot of work.
I know. That's why unschooling or homeschooling is the best. Like it just kind of shortcuts all of that stuff. And then the other reason why I like it a lot is because, you know, like a lot of parents might be freaking out the first year because really what's going to happen is your kids are going to want to go on YouTube and just like do nothing. They're just going to want to like watch videos forever. And, you know, you start worrying like, oh my gosh, like I got to get my kid off the phone or off their devices. But like the whole part with unschooling is learning to trust your children. You know, they're learning, that's how they are moving about in the world right now, learning what they like and what they don't like. You know, like I think the only thing to worry about is to try to make an effort to get your kids into a group where they actually meet up with other school or other kids so that they can play and socialize. But, you know, as an entrepreneur, you have to wake up every morning and you have to figure out, what do I want to do today? And so that's kind of what's happening with them that first year. They're like exploring, what do I like? And then they do develop all of these passions. And now all of a sudden when they wake up, they're like, oh, I want to do this, this, and this. And they get up and they're excited. You know, like my son is like a master builder in Minecraft. Like I feel like he's got like some serious like engineering giftedness, you know. My daughter is like really into makeup, and she knows like you know she's been into makeup since she was 2. I had to do her nails like every stinking day, you know. So it's just like it's just fun to see like what they fall into,
Mhm.
and you get to really like learn this like um, this human, you know, like you somehow I birthed this thing, you know, and you get to like watch the unflowering of this
Mhm.
human without being told, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. You know, like for example, like my son is really into horror, you know, so like I
Mhm.
took him to a haunted house. I'm like one of the only mommies who's got like a 6-year-old at a haunted house, but all I could say is they loved it. Like they
Mhm.
loved it. They're like laughing their heads off, and like I just tell them like these are people with a mask on. It's not real.
Mhm. Yeah, I know. It's really interesting because, like you said, like, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. I remember in school, I was really into art, right? And all I wanted to do was draw and create and stuff like that. And yes, there's a fine line between like we need to learn how to count and how to
Right,
read and,
right,
you know, the basic stuff that we need. But when you are like, if a kid is really into math, right? And they're really into numbers and stuff, then you want to do more things of math that that kid likes.
right.
Or if they're into art, or if they really love filming videos, maybe help them get like a new video editor or a new phone so that they can film and create videos and teach people how to create videos, right? They're going to grow in whatever it is that they love. And that's the beauty of humanity, is that we all have our passions and what we
Right.
want to share with the world, and it's guiding them towards those passions instead of saying, no, you need to do this right now, right? Of
Yeah,
course, we need to do certain things, right, in life, but it's overall.
I'll show you what my son made. So he's super into polymer clay.
Oh God, I love miniature polymer clay. Oh my gosh.
So this is like his house of horrors. And these are like polymer clay dolls that he made. So yeah, he's just super into that. And then they're really into Among Us. So this is my daughter's. Oops. This is my daughter. So she made all these Among Us characters.
Oh
And
my
like
God.
I literally will have and these are cooked. So they started like just, standing them up. But I'll have this table. Just normally, I'll take off the tablecloth, and this is just like an art room. So they're just like constantly playing. And like I bought polymer clay for them before, and they were not as interested in it. And then all of a sudden, my son got into horror, and he started watching all of these polymer clay videos. And then all of a sudden, he's like, "Mom, I want polymer clay. Like I have to have it." So then I'm like, okay, here you go, So it's just like he's following his passion, but it leads into something else, and you're just kind of trusting it, And this happened actually with a friend of mine. Her son got really into weapons, and so she was unschooling too, and she was like, oh my God, he got so into weapons, But her son it turned into like a love of history, like it developed into that. So it's like just really trusting your kids, even if you're worried about like what the heck it is that they're interested in, because
They're exploring. They're exploring. That's all. Yeah.
right. Cool. Well, yeah, they're doing great. I'm having a lot of fun being a mom, and I can't imagine being a mother any other way. So when you're actually getting to unschool your kids, like the other thing I could say is that the kids are closer. Like they play all the time. They still sleep in the same bed. And like the whole family is closer. Like I get to see them more. And when we do, because when they were in school, they got home from school, they had like an hour and a half of homework, then they had like an activity, and then we would eat dinner in bed, and like, so there was no time really for like fun time or play or, imaginative like thinking. And so they have tons of that time right now, which is just super, super fun. Like I will hear them in the other room. They'll be like talking in another voice, like, no, I didn't say that. Da, 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 and then we'll make up all of these stories, and it's just so fun, and it's creative, and they are actually inspiring me, which is super cool.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and we all are inspired by each other, especially the kids, because they are so innocent, and just got to be more kid-like, like wearing flower bands if you want to, or getting those pretty earrings, or making recipes. Like maybe a kid's really into chefing and they're like loving up chopping the veggies and stuff, like just guiding them and guiding yourself as an adult, because we all have that inner child that, and for some of us, like I went to school, I graduated at school, like I was never unschooled or homeschooled or anything like that. And I look back on my life, and as an adult, I'm not as prone to play, and I want to play more because I feel like I missed out on that.
Right. Like my mom was a PhD teacher, so you can only imagine, like that's what you do, So for me to like break away from that was really hard. And I still, like in the back of my head, sometimes had that nagging thought, like you need to be doing something, you need to be doing something. So for me just to relax and have fun is kind of hard. Like I was telling Chris Kendall in my live earlier, like in the yoga class, the hardest pose for me to do is the Savasana.
Interesting. Yeah. It really reveals a lot.
Yeah. They like keep going and going, but it's like, no, like a lot more times than not, like you need to do less. And like that's even what I'm learning in your course that I'm taking is just less is better, because then you're able to really focus in on something, and you're able to get large chunks of time where you can, like when you start to get into the flow, like you don't always want to break your flow state, and sometimes you might need like 2 or 3 hours, and you're getting like ridiculously productive. You don't want to always be interrupted. And so like that's like what I noticed before is like I would be like, oh, I have to go and run and do a massage, or oh, I have to go do some this or that, when I was in the middle of like a flow state. And then what would happen is I'd come back and I would have to do something again because I forgot where I left off, and it kind of interrupted it. So I just overall was not as productive.
So yeah, so getting simple.
Yeah, get simple. Like, and so that's like, so like the raw food life kind of goes along with that. I mean, how much more simple can you get than eating fruit, you know?
Yeah,
And
nice salads. Get
or your
creative.
delicious salads. Yeah.
Yeah, let's be kids and play in the kitchen with 1,000 brand new recipes in the bundle. Link in the chat.
Click on the link, you guys. Alyssa's got a link. I got a link, and I think we're at our hour, and so I'll pop off just because I've been doing 3 of them and I've got 2 more. So, but I'm so glad that you came, Lissa. Like, it's just been such an honor to actually talk with you on a more personal level. So thank you so much for sharing your time. I know you've got lots of requests, so I really appreciate it. And you guys check out the bundle, 50 ebooks, 50 creators, special holiday ebook. These will never be, together in a bundle ever again. The holiday ebook will not be released separately. So you've got to get it in the bundle. You're going to miss out. And you guys, it's awesome. I can't think. It's like the deal of, this is a great holiday gift to give for somebody too. So this is like the deal of the season. Don't miss out. And thank you so much, Lissa. Do you have anything you want to say in closing?
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you. This was such a really good conversation because, like we talk a lot about raw food all the time. So it was really refreshing to talk about the unschooling and the kids and being creative, and because life is so much more than the food, right? But the food is a big part. So I just wanted to thank you for sharing those insights with me and just being awesome.
Thank you so much, Lissa. And if anybody missed the first half of this will be saved on my feed. So just check it out. You can always come back and watch it later.
Awesome. All right. Have fun and enjoy the rest of your lives. I'll be live with Jade and Nate in an hour. So yeah, it's a busy day for all of us.
Thanks, Lissa. Bye, guys. Have a great day.
All right. Mwah! Fruit on.